Hello, how are we? Do you like the tune? I've actually got a strange urge to shout freedom. I don't know why. Although I think Colin's probably right. I googled, what did I Google? Free bagpipe music. And that's what it came up with. I quite like it, to be fair. Anyway, how the bloody hell are you? You've grown a lot since the last time I saw you. That one will never get old. Anyway, yeah, listen, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I'm getting lazier and lazier. I'm losing the incentive to do pre-recorded waffles. Don't know. I mean, I managed to eke out about, I don't know, 7 years worth of the bloody things. So I think I've done fairly well. But yeah, it's just trying to kind of sit and talk in front of a camera for about an hour with no interaction isn't easy. Trust me in that one. Um, I'm just laughing at Stephen. Stephen's asking for China Miner. Stephen, as I've said, buddy, there will be no games tonight. This is purely a waffle. This is purely me talking pish. That is something I am actually good at. Yeah, so there'll be no live games. There'll be no game playing at all. Yeah, a new hat. It's actually my gym hat, Holly. Yeah, I was talking to Holly earlier on. I hope she doesn't mind me mentioning this. Way off the X-loading pish. As you probably know, if you watch my channel, I think all you guys do. Yeah, it's a game that Holly has kindly agreed to write. Oh no, I'll tell her why. She did not agree. She said she was going to write it. I didn't ask Holly to do it, but Holly's in the process of writing this game. It's going to come out in the C64 and hopefully other machines as well. It has gone a wee bit quiet, and purely because Holly has a life. I know. I hope you don't mind me saying this, Holly, but she's moved house recently, and like everybody else, she's absolutely. So I'm just looking at the bloody comment. You behave yourself, folks. Yeah, she's up to her arse with work as well. So the game will be released when it is ready. So yeah, she did send me a little kind of sneak preview of what it's looking like. It's looking really, really good. Oh, excuse me, that's disgusting. Hang on a second. Awesome, Dad. Oh, Christ, apologies. Well, no, I'm not apologising. I'm not apologising at all. I realised that the quickest way to make people aware of a live waffle is just to do a 13-second video. Hence the reason I did that earlier on when I was outside the gym. I have to laugh. You go down to the gym and I know there's going to be laughing at this one, but I am categorically the oldest bloke in the gym. It's fully all the young team. All they do is they work on their arms, and half of them they're more interested in their phone. You know, you see them all sitting there, and I feel like saying, "Put your bloody phones away, lads, and start doing something." They're just bloody lazy shites. Anyway, yeah, Stephen wants to talk. He wants to talk everything China Miner. So yeah, talk away. Talk away. No, I bought that. Did I? Wait, yeah, I bought that myself, Holly. Yeah, bought it myself. Does it suit me? It's the cheeky Scotsman, says Mr. Gregory. Yeah, so let's have a quick wee squint. Evening, Charlie. Let's have a quick wee look just to see who's in tonight. We've got Ox. We've got Mr. Ornig. Stephen, how do you pronounce your name? Is it Ornig? 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 Or I'm going to go with Ornig. You Holly was asking, what the bloody hell am I listening to? It was some Irish folk music. What's that? What the hell is that? Hang on a wee tick. Oh, bollocks, you know. Right, 2 seconds. It's a thing I'm going to talk about in a second. Apparently, I've been after an Xbox Series X. I've got this strange urge to get one, and yeah, I've trying to get one is like hen's teeth. In fact, there's probably more chance of getting hen's teeth. Excuse me. So I've signed up to this app, which is supposed to tell you when they come into stock. Now, according to that, I've just had a indication or a notification to say Argos have them. Let's have a quick look. Let's do a live look. Xbox. How do we do this? Xbox. God, I sound like my dad. How do you do this, son? How do you do this? Xbox Series X. There we go. Where the bloody hell's that? Order now, Shrewsbury. That's no good to man or beast. Wait a minute. Let me have a quick look. Edinburgh. Not in stock. Not in stock. Not in stock. Glasgow. Search. Not in stock. Not in stock. Not in stock. Last one. Bollocks. Yeah. So yeah, why do I want an Xbox Series X? I mean, I've been talking for years and years about how I've got no interest in sort of current gen gaming, and what's changed my mind. A game that my daughter and I love, yeah, not love because it's still a game, is Left 4 Dead on the Xbox 360 and the PC. It's a brilliant game. It's, I don't play many online games, but it is tremendous, absolutely tremendous. And then I found out a couple of weeks ago, excuse me, I'm just going to have a quick drink of this before it gets cold. There's a sort of an unofficial sequel called, so I'm just looking at, Dell is very kindly sending me the questions across on what do you call it, on Messenger, so I don't miss them. What was I talking about? Yeah, an unofficial sequel called Back 4 Blood. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. I can't get a Series X for love nor money. So then, yeah, there's a thing called Game Pass, and basically what it is it's you pay so much per month, and you can play games Microsoft release, or they give you the option. No, I'll start again. They put out sort of a certain number of games, even brand new games like Back 4 Blood's just out. I think FIFA 21 is on it. The new Halo game's on it. You can play these for so long. Now, the thing is, you don't know when the game is going to be. It might only be up for a couple of months and then it'll be taken away. But yeah, so I signed up to that, and it's absolutely fantastic. You get for the first month, it's £1. Yep, £1 or 100 pence, whatever way you want to think about it. Then you get 2 months free, and then you cancel it like I did. So basically, you're getting 3 months for £1, which isn't bad. So I've already cancelled it. So I think I've got until the 22nd or the 19th of February, something like that. So I've signed up for myself and my daughter. So we're playing it a couple of nights ago. We've had 2 games. It is excellent. It is excellent. But this is the thing. It is so bloody complicated. It is so convoluted. I mean, my daughter is really, she's right up to speed with, online stuff. And bloody hell, see the carry on trying to actually try. It took us probably about half an hour to try and figure out how do you get into the game. And it's not just you don't just start a campaign and you go. You've got playing cards, skill cards, all this bollocks. I don't know. I just think modern games are way far too complicated for their own good. But when we eventually got into the game, it's excellent, really good. So like I says, 3 months for £1. You can't complain at that. But I've been doing a bit of kind of digging, and yeah, the PlayStation 5, obviously, that's you can't get that either. Xbox Series X, you can't get that either. Apparently, the Xbox Series X is slightly more powerful than the PlayStation 5. But the big thing for me, excuse me, I've got an itchy back. Extreme close up. Ah, Jesus, I think I've pulled a bloody muscle. Yeah, the thing that I like about that is enticing me towards the Xbox is the fact that you've got this Game Pass. So yeah, if I get the Game Pass, I will basically have free access to all these games, and yeah, it's the way forward. It's the future. The only problem is you can't get a hold of the damn things, and that's, I know I've been talking about this before, but how the hell have we got to a situation where, I mean, I think the Xbox and the Series X and the PlayStation 5, they came out last November. So they're now a year old. They're now a year old, and you still can't buy them. What is that? Is it Brexit? Is it down to a shortage of chips? Is it down to HGV drivers? What's causing it? Why can't we get it? And is it worth buying one? Is it worth buying one? Always used to laugh at my brother-in-law years and years and years ago. So if I'm talking early 90s, he was always interested in computers, and anytime he came down to visit me, he would always, oh, can I have a shot at your computer, whatever. And I used to say to him, when are you going to buy your own computer? Why don't you buy one? And he always, his answer was, I'm going to wait until they come down in price and they get more powerful. And I says, well, with that attitude, you're never going to buy one. And it literally took him about 10 years to eventually decide to buy a computer. So, yeah, I suppose you've got to, if you're, I suppose back in the year 2000 or 1995 when the PlayStation 1 came out, or PlayStation as it's called, you could technically say, I'm not going to buy a PlayStation. I'm going to wait until the PlayStation 5 comes out because it's going to be better. And with that attitude, you're never ever actually going to ever play anything. But anyway, back on topic. Why can't we buy any? If anybody knows any secret way to get an Xbox Series X, I'm not paying a penny more than retail price. I mean, they're selling on eBay for £699. They can just fuck off. Seriously, I'm not paying a penny more than it's worth. And that's the thing, because let's be honest, in probably 2-3 years' time, you'll be able to go into Gumtree and you'll be able to pick up a Series X or a PlayStation 5 for 50 quid. That's the reality, folks. But yeah, if anybody has got any contacts within Microsoft, if anybody's related to Bill Gates and can get me one at cost price, you know where I stay. Let me have a quick look at the comments. Dale has very, very kindly been putting all the comments down there. So we've got some questions. Colin is saying an interesting thing. How many Collins are watching this? So let's have a quick look. That's a really good question. We've got Colin Gregory. We've got Colin Jones. Is that going to be it? Yeah, 2. I think that is it. Oh, the mug. Sorry, Holly. Yeah, the mug. That was. I actually bought that for myself. Nah, seriously, my daughter bought me it. I think that was just before she actually asked me for something. Right, wait a wee minute. Right, okay. I was looking at last week's Friday Waffle, and there are no questions. None. Zippo. So I'm going to, Dale's, as like I said, he's very kindly put down some. Right, Miss Holly Brereton. Okay, serious question then. Thoughts on the what? Pi Moroni Pico system, guys, and Al. I have not got a bloody clue what you're talking about. Let me have a quick look. Right, I'm going to have to copy and paste that. I have absolutely no idea what the hell you're rabbiting on about. Let's have a look. Right, okay. Right, well, tell you what, let's, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen so you can see what it is. Who said Chuck Rock? Chuck Rock can just fuck off. I have never ever played that game. Right, wait a wee minute. Share screen. And we want to go to that. There we go. That apparently is the Pico system. Let's have a wee look. Does it tell you? There we go. The Pico system is a pocket-sized handheld games console built around Raspberry Pis. We've taken one of these lucky bits of silicon, blah, 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 blah. So wait a minute, is that going to be able to run RetroPie? Or have you still got to buy the actual, does that come with the, you know what, you've actually got me. I think I've just found my my Christmas present I need to ask for. I'm just trying to see. So do you need, tell you what, let's look at the comments. What's the point of asking questions when I've got live people? The screen is too large. Yeah, that is the only problem. No, saying that, I have I've been wearing contact lenses. I'll just take that off for a second. Remove. There we go. I've been wearing contact lenses since about 1990. I am short-sighted, which means I can see up close, but I can't see distance. So I've been wearing contact lenses for, like I say, since 1990. And like all old people, my when I've got my, is that the size of the screen? Yeah. Yeah, when I've got my contact lenses, I basically need I need to wear glasses. I need reading glasses. However, if I take my contact lenses out, I can read the I don't know, I can read the number on a SIM card. My eyesight is excellent when I've not got lenses in. But the problem is I need my lenses in for distance. So when I'm working, or I find, you know, when it's getting darker at nights, whatever, sort of poor light, I struggle to read. So I was down what the hell am I talking about? I was at Specsavers a couple of weeks ago getting my contact lenses checked, and I said to the guy, sort of just kind of joking, I says, so how could I have good long distance vision and close vision? I says, I take it I could just take one contact lens out, which would give me the good, you know, the good vision. And he says, yeah, he says you could do that. Alternatively, you could get is it bifocal lenses. Now I thought he was taking the piss. Now I don't know if you know what a contact lens looks like. It is basically it looks like a piece of polythene. You pop into your eye and suddenly you've got 20/20 vision. I'm thinking, how the hell could that possibly work? He says, well, we actually do these things. Varifocals, there you go. What is that? Oh, right, you're talking about glasses. No, these are what do you call it? Contact lenses. They'll anyway, says, listen, we've got a set of them you can try. So I've been wearing them for 2 weeks. Wow, best thing ever. I can now see. I think there's a slight payoff. I think my distance isn't quite as good, but I can still. It's still perfect as far as I'm concerned. But the great thing is, I don't need to wear reading glasses now. So as long as I've got my contact lenses in, I can see up close and I can see distance. I just wish I knew about these before. I don't know how long they've even been a thing. I think they're slightly more expensive, but yeah, awesome. Yeah, so going back to this thing, right, okay, I thought this was going to be, let's have a see. There we go. Yeah, I mean, what's the size of the screen? Can you buy China Miner t-shirts? I'm sure you probably can, Stephen. Evening, Mr. Flanagan. I'm sure you can probably buy China Miner t-shirts. Yeah, I mean, what size is it? Where did it say that? Yeah, 1.5 inches. Nah, that is just too damn small. I mean, I don't know what's the Game Boy Micro. That's just far too small. If that had, if that ran, would you call it? If that ran RetroPie, then I would be all over it, because yeah, that would be awesome. But yeah. So anyway, to answer Holly's question, serious thoughts. I don't know. I think we've kind of gone to the extreme with minimizing, things. You need to be able to see things, and 1.54 inches is just too damn small. I would say so. So yeah, I'm out. I'm not interested. Right, the Oxmeister is asking, was there ever a game that changed your mind about a gaming genre you had previously disliked? Yeah, I wouldn't say disliked as such, but I've never really been into strategy games. It's always been kind of more arcadey type things. But there was a game that came out in the Amiga, and it was a Dune 2. Excuse me, the sequel to Dune apparently. And yeah, Dune 2 is it's one of these games you've got to mine stuff. I can't remember what's the name of the stuff that you mine. I really can't remember. Anyway, you mine stuff with your harvester, and then you build factories and all that kind of stuff. And I played it on, I think it was the Amiga, and I became so addicted to it. Played that to death, completed it. Then I Spice, that's at Ox, and then what was the next game I played? I don't think there was any games like that on the Amiga. I then moved across to the PC. I got into Warcraft, not World of Warcraft, Warcraft, the original one, then Warcraft 2 with orcs and humans. Then I got into that. I started playing Command and Conquer, Red Alert, Tiberian Sun, and yeah, love these games. I have actually bought them on Steam. I think it's like HD versions or something like that. So yeah, it was never a game that I was ever into, and I've never gone back. I mean, the last game I played like that. If anybody can recommend any games that are like that, give me a shout. The only problem is I don't want them overly complicated. I like the fact that things like Warcraft, they were simple to play. I'm quite. I don't like things too complicated. So yeah, June 2, absolutely Ox. Sorry, Stephen. Evening, Brian. Sorry, I'm just looking at one there, hanging at two ticks. Stephen's just saying there, sounds cool. I'll look out for those, Al, if I need them. I'm short-sighted but can read close with contact lenses. Well, it sounds like you don't actually need them. I think you've obviously got decent eyesight. But yeah, I think they're bloody awesome. The guy gave them to trial for 2 weeks. I have to go back on Friday, I think it is, to let them know how I got on. But they're brilliant, really, really good. Actually, just interestingly, it's not interesting at all, but I'm going to talk about it. Oh, bloody back. Oh. Yeah, you've all seen the adverts. Laser eye treatment from £275 per eye. I thought, oh, that's all right. I'll have some of that. So I went along to, I can't remember who it was. It wasn't Specsavers. By the way, if you're new to my channel and you're tuning in, you're thinking, yeah, he's going to talk about video games. I do sometimes, on the odd occasion, talk about games. Trust me. Most of the time, I just talk about anything, any bollocks that comes into my mind, I talk about. So anyway, yeah, I went along to whatever it was. It wasn't Specsavers; it was something else. And I says, yeah, I'm interested in getting laser eye treatment. So I said, oh, that's fine. So anyway, I was there for about they put me in front of various machines and God knows what else. And I was there for a good couple of hours. And I thought, if it comes in about, £200 per eye or whatever it is, I can live with that. So then he said, right, how did you get on? Are you interested? And I said, oh, yeah, that's fine. Then they took out the big, all the reams of paper. And he says, right, he says, based on the various tests that we've done and, your eyesight, etc., it's going to cost £3,975. And I quite literally almost fell off the chair. And he says, so what do you think? And I'm like, what do I think? I says, I came in here thinking I was going to be paying £700, maybe £800, £3,700. I says, forget it. And I says, why is there such a difference? He says, because depending on how good or bad your eyesight is, depends on how long the laser has got to be in your eye. And I thought, I mean, what are you talking? A few extra seconds? He says, oh yes, but these things are very expensive. So I quickly did, well, I couldn't afford £3,500, whatever it was. And secondly, I thought, I've only probably got about another 30 years on Earth. So I will stick to £10 a month contact lenses. So anyway, there you go. Stephen's asking, do you think they will release China Minor on the Xbox? Now, if you're talking about the Xbox, Stephen, i.e. the very, very first Xbox that came out, then yeah, you can play it on the Xbox under emulation. I mean, the Xbox came out, I don't know when it came out. It must have, when did it come out? Does anybody know when the Xbox came out? I'm guessing 2000, something like that, possibly. Yeah, anyway, it's about 20 years old, and the Xbox is still, pound for pound, one of the best emulation things you can ever get. I've still got it, you know. It's underneath my telly downstairs. I don't really use it that much, to be fair, but you know, as a one-stop shop emulation solution, it is up there. It is utterly fantastic. Sadly, Stephen, I don't see Bethesda Software or EA wanting to port China Minor somehow. I could be wrong. I could possibly be wrong. I mean, if EA or whoever wants to release the game and they want a little disclaimer like Codemasters used to do, with somebody going absolutely brilliant with me like that, then yeah, I'll do that for £10,000. But yeah, sadly, Stephen, I don't think that is likely to happen. Kevin, Keith, LFC Gamer, and Vlogs. What is your favourite takeaway meal? Oh, I'm quite a simplistic person. No laughing at the back. I mean, I like a takeaway like the next person. I'm there's a bit of a standing joke. Anytime I go for a meal, an Italian meal with my daughter, I don't even look at the menu, and I mean that. Well, I will. I'll kind of get the menu, and I'll go like that, and I'll go, "Yep, I know what I'm getting." I always get pepperoni pizza. Always get pepperoni pizza. Now, people slag me for it. They'll say, "Why do you always get pepperoni pizza?" And my answer is because I love it. Well, you should try something else. I says, but when you love something as much as I do, then I don't want to miss out. I have on the very odd occasion picked something different, and I think I wish I'd bloody got pepperoni pizza. So yeah, I always get the same thing. I do like Chinese. I mean, I'm very. I wouldn't say I'm very simplistic with my sort of food tastes. Sweet and sour chicken, beef and black bean sauce, lemon chicken, stuff like that. But I think if I was on death row, and just to kind of make things a bit more upbeat, if I was on death row and I had one last request, and it was going to be a takeaway, what would I go for? I think it would have to be a fish supper, or to the English people, a fish tea. Uh, yeah, it's a fish supper up in Scotland and a fish tea down in England. Yeah, it would have to be a fish supper, definitely. Salt and sauce. Now, this is an interesting thing. In Scotland, depends on what side of the country you live in. If you come from Edinburgh side, it's salt and sauce, brown sauce, not tomato sauce. If you come from Glasgow, it's salt and vinegar. I always thought it was the other way around, but apparently that's it. Salt and vinegar is Glaswegian, salt and sauce is Edinburgh. So yeah, I think it would have to be fish and chips with brown sauce and salt. Uh, I think Mr. Ornig's taking the piss out of me, folks. Has China Minor been released in the PlayStation? Possibly. Who knows? Who knows? Right, Collins. In fact, let me just catch up with the comments. How are we doing for time? 33 minutes. LFC gamer, I couldn't do contact lenses. The thought of accidentally poking my eyes out puts me off. I'll stick with glasses. You know what? Contact lenses are a piece of piss. Great. Right, I'm interested in this one. Brian's asking here. I vaguely remember attending a computer fair hosted in the Forum in Livy in the late 1980s. Did you ever attend those? Now, Brian, I'm assuming you come from kind of this neck of the woods. Where about? Well, you don't have to tell me. But I take it you're in Livingston. Yeah, I live in Livingston. It's a new town. They're actually trying to get the. They're actually trying to become a city. I don't know what difference. What difference does it make if you're a city? I don't know. The Forum was. It was kind of. What was it? It was a sort of an exhibition venue. I mean, there was lots of groups used to play there. I think like the Shaman and loads of groups. They used to have concerts. They used to have raves back in the 90s or the 80s as well. They used to have like snooker exhibitions. They used to have, I think, had darts, all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure, just with you saying that, Brian, I'm sure I did go to one back in the day. Don't you miss computer fairs? There was something really special about computer fairs that you just wouldn't get now. The thing I loved about the ones in the 80s was, there was no internet, so you never got a chance to see a game getting played. The only time you saw a game getting played, unless you bought it or it was your mate's game, would be in a shop, in the shop window. But computer fairs were great because you would go along and there was a chance to buy games. You would get to see like previews, the up and coming games. Um, yeah, the excitement. There was a real buzz about back then. I mean, I remember the classic PCW shows, personal computer, whatever it stands for. I don't know what it stands for. Yeah, the PCW shows at Earl's Court in London. I can also remember me and my mate. Me and my mate got we got the bus. We got the bus down to London. I think it was from Edinburgh, and we got to is it Victoria Station? Is there a Victoria Station in London? We got the bus down there, and we arrived at, I think it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and obviously the computer show didn't start until, I don't know, 10 o'clock or something. And I remember we were sitting in the bus station, and we were absolutely shitting ourselves because there was all these people who were pissed, and obviously people who had been coming home from nightclubs, whatever. And it was actually, we were quite scared. We were like two cowering Scotsmen, and eventually got to Earl's Court, and we were standing outside for the best part of a couple of hours waiting in the opening. But yeah, it was great. I mean, it was, I remember going to these, and it was the first time I think I saw Zap 64 they had a stall. I saw Julian Rignall and Gary Liddon, all these guys, Gary Penn, they were there. There was also a guy, I can't remember what he was called. I just remember his first name, and he was called Wayne, and he used to do the adventure column in computer and video games. He looked like some kind of 1970s rocker. Wayne, he had this really kind of blonde hair. He almost looked like an albino. He was kind of quite odd looking. I remember seeing him there as well. But yeah, computer fairs were great. They really were. I've actually still got a poly bag that I got when I bought a game, and it was It was, what do you call it? Oh, Christ almighty. Fright Night. Yeah, Fright Night. And it was released by Microdeal. And if I remember rightly, it's a luminous green. So I've still got that bag. It might be worth a fortune. You never know. Anyway, yeah, I digress. Yeah, to get back on the topic, I think I did go to that one. Brian, yep, thanks for the question. Let's have another wee look. Let me just have a quick drink of my tea or coffee, whatever. Oh, I don't know what it. Jesus, that's bloody sore. I think I'll have a hot bath for me after this. Right, Colin's asking, have you ever played any games that you thought would be complete pish, but actually turned out to be very enjoyable? Yes. Now the thing is, you wouldn't normally, if you knew a game was going to be pish, then you'd be off your head to buy it. I've had plenty of games that I bought thinking they were going to be good and turned out to be pish. Street Fighter on the Amiga. But one game that I thought was going to be pish, and I loved it, and I still love it to this day, was Beam Rider. Beam Rider came on it was on the Soft Aid compilation tape. I think it was £5. Was it £5.99? I think it was. And yeah, I remember loading it, and I just thought, this looks absolutely bloody terrible. And wow, what a game! I mean, I was playing it last week in the Atari stream. Absolutely fantastic game. It's one of the best examples of a game that gameplay over graphics. And I have to say, China Minor. I mean, I never played China Minor back in the day. I just thought it was the most impossible game. Even to this day, I would, I would bet, I would bet my mortgage that somebody who has never played the game before, that they will not complete level 1 on their first go. Absolutely, I would bet £5,000, whatever it is. But obviously, I started playing it just because it was a bloody god awful game, and I actually enjoy playing it now. So there you go. Yeah, Beam Rider, Colin. Right, takeaway one. 8-bit Steve, question: The Wild Bunch, is it the best budget game ever? The Wild Bunch, I don't even know what that game is, Steve. Let me have a quick wee look. I don't know what that is at all. I've never even heard of it. The Wild Bunch. God, I'm just looking at the thumbnail that I did for that little live waffle thing. The Wild Bunch. Video. A game that I've become addicted to? Solitaire on the computer, on my mobile. Right. You know what? I have never actually. I mean, I recognise the game, but I can't honestly say I've ever played it. I will need to rectify that. In fact, let me just. I've got a little. I've got a little README down here, videos to do. I'm just going to put that there. Best 8-bit game ever. I've seen it, Steve. I remember seeing the advert. The Wild Bunch. I'm assuming you're going to say ZX Spectrum. So I'll put ZX Spectrum. There we go. Right, save that. Okay, good. Right. So I can't really comment, Steve. I would say best budget game ever. It would be, for me, it would be a very, very, very close call between Thrust on the C64 and Kickstart 2, I think. Yeah, Kickstart 2. Both are absolutely epic games. But I think I would probably have to go for Kickstart 2 just because longevity, is that a word? Longevity? I have no idea. Yeah, I would probably say I think Kickstart 2 would probably be my favourite budget game. Obviously, there was games that. See, I'm an old fart. I'd actually left the Commodore 64 scene before full price games were getting re-released as budget games because things like Iridium and Whizball, I'm quite sure they came out. Was it the Hit Squad? I think it was. They then got released. All these games I bought when they were full price. So I mean, I had moved on to the Atari ST by time they started releasing budget games or full price games as budget games. But for me, I would say I think it would have to be Kickstart 2 as the best budget game. But I will try that one, Steve, absolutely, and let you know how I get on. Right, I'm going to be second, right? Oh, I've still got some coffee, but I'm going to drink some beer. This video is sponsored by. Now I know, is that not the one that you're supposed to put a wee bit, whatever it is? Ah, warm beer, bloody hell. I'm just laughing at Stephen's. Mr. Orrig is definitely taking the piss out of me tonight. Colin Ferguson, have you ever bought a game so violent you could not play anymore? The only game I'm not a fan, Colin, of Call of Duties. The only Call of Duty games that I liked were the World War II ones. I mean, I did buy the World War II Call of Duty. Came out maybe 3-4 years ago, and I've never really played it for a long time. But there was, I mean, I'm not remotely interested in Battlefield and all the new games. I've got no interest in these at all. But there was one of I think it was a Call of Duty where, and I've mentioned this before quite a few times actually. There was a level where you were like undercover and you were an undercover terrorist, and it's in an airport, and you've got to basically get through the level. And part of that is you have to shoot. I don't know if you're shooting children. I don't think you're shooting children, but you're shooting innocent people because you're trying to be undercover. And to be fair, they obviously acknowledged that it's a very, very sensitive sort of topic because they gave you an option to actually quit or not quit, to kind of bypass that level. And I was more curious than anything because I'm one of these people. I think, well, you know what, I'm clever enough to know the difference between real life and a video game, and I'll gladly play things like Doom and whatever it is. But I gave it a go, and I was actually quite uncomfortable playing it, shooting like innocent people. It just really didn't sit well with me at all, and that was it. I think that was probably the last Call of Duty, whatever it was, I'd ever played. So yeah, I'm just laughing at Mr. Ornig. Where was Ian Gray born? I have absolutely no bloody idea, Stephen. If if Ian Gray had bothered to turn up for his interview with me, then I would have asked him. Yeah, so I have no idea. You can Google it, but the chances of it being on Google is probably next to zero. I'm going to be second, Dale. Phil has just asked a question, right? Come on, Dale, you need to keep up, son. Right, before it disappears, Phil is asking, do you still like old text adventure games, and have you played any new ones? No. It's not because I think if I had a computer back in the really early days before graphics were a thing, I would have probably got into them. I think they would have definitely piqued my interest. But when I got my first computer in 1983, I think it was, graphics were a thing. So yeah, I think the only like true text adventure with no graphics that I ever played for a very short time was it Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where you start off in your bed or something. That was it. I played it for about, I don't know, half an hour, and that was it. So no, there's just too many things came along, Phil, that kind of distracted me. So I've never been into text adventures. Like a lot of people, when the graphics got good. I remember seeing pictures when I still had my C64. I remember seeing screenshots of the pawn on the Atari ST by, what was the name? Not Magnetic Fields. What was the name of the Magnetic something or another? Who did the pawn in Gildy Thieves? I can't remember. Doesn't matter. But yeah, the pawn was a text adventure, but it had really nice graphics. And again, it was the graphics that kind of made me want to play it rather than the text part itself. But no, I've not. I think the game that I've played the most, and even then, that's not very much, would be Castle of Terror, because it's just got the most sublime music ever. Fantastic music. Right, let's have a look. So, not Stephen. I don't know where Ian Gray was born. Ox is saying, wait a frigging minute. Since when did you have two Vectrexes? I've had two Vectrexes for about, I don't know, 3 years. That's actually my third one. I've got that one. I've got that one. And I've got one in the cupboard. So I've actually got three. Now you're probably saying, you greedy bastard. But this is the thing, because I must admit, I wouldn't say I dislike people that do that, but I always think there's something a wee bit sad, and this is really, really hypocritical. People that have loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of the same machines, and you're thinking, why don't you spread the goodness? The reason I have got three is because I got them for good prices. The Vectrex, whilst is not it's not the machine that I play all the time at all. Excuse me. It is. It's just the Vectrex is like no other machine. I don't think we're ever going to see another vector-based home system. In fact, you're probably never going to see another based Vectrex system at all. It's it's a stunning little machine. It really is. If you've never tried one, you're really missing out. So yeah, I mean, I bought my first one. I got my first one. I don't know when it would be, a long time ago. The first time I actually, apart from when they first came out, like everybody, it was in Woolworths, or it was Woolco in my case. Woolworths was Woolco was like the superstore version of Woolworths, and they used to sell the Vectrex. There was this kind of big sort of cabinet thing, and you had the Vectrex, and then underneath it had all the sort of games. And it was more as I don't know what age I would be, 14 years old, 13 years old. I didn't really know what to make of it, because they had things like the ColecoVision, they had the Intellivision, they had the Atari 2600, and then they had this Vectrex. And if I remember rightly, they had the computer games like the ColecoVision and that, they were all beside the sort of electronics department, whereas the Vectrex was in the toy department. So it's almost like the shop themselves didn't really know what to make of it, because they lumped it in as a toy. But so I never actually got to play one until 2003, I think it was 2005, 2003. I think it may be 2003. Anyway, it was one of the first Retrovisions, which I've harped on about before. My mate Mark Racing, who does watch my videos from time to time. I've not seen him for a wee while actually. Um, it was like the original play events. Basically, a group of guys, group of mates, all met in a pub, took along machines, and yeah, went along to this thing, and there was a Vectrex, and I was utterly mesmerised at this thing. I just thought, you know, this is amazing. You know, stuff like Scramble and that, really good games. So anyway, yeah, this is before the sort of the retro collecting scene really kind of got daft, and I got myself a Vectrex with I think 7 games for £100, which considering they go for like £300 now, which is just, I'm going to say ridiculous. Is it ridiculous? It's like anything. I mean, there's a finite number of Vectrexes. You're never going to be able to buy a brand new one. They are in quite short supply. So I don't know. It is what it is. People will only pay what they want to pay. But yeah, so I got my first one, and then about maybe a couple of years later, there was somebody selling one again. I think it was like £80 a couple of games. So I bought that. I thought, yeah, I've got a backup. And then I don't know, about a year ago, there was one literally, it was about 10 minutes from my girlfriend's house. And I phoned her. I says, look, any chance of popping along and buying this? And I think it was £100, but it was being sold as broken. But there was games. I think there was like 4 or 5 games. Now the games for the Vectrex on their own go for like 50, £60. Just daft money. So I got this, and then one of my mates said, Jason, very, very kindly repaired it for me. So that's how I've come to acquire 3 Vectrexes. I think I will get rid of one to help kind of fund my Xbox Series X purchase. If anyone's interested, please let me know. I'm also going to be selling my Spectrum next. If anybody's interested, again, let me know. I want to start selling stuff, stuff that I don't use. So yeah, I do indeed. I've had 2 Vectrexes for probably about 8 years, and I've had 3 for about 3-4 months. Dale, have you ever thought about you smart bastard? Have you ever thought about writing a book or running a course called Level 2 and Other Dreams? Get it right up you. I've actually thought about writing a book before. Um, one of my mates, Andrew Lowe, he's written quite a few books, and it kind of got me thinking. I would love to write a book. I think everybody has got the ability to write a book. Mine's wasn't going to be fictional. It was going to basically be a sort of biography of me growing up, because I was one of the first kids to be born where I stay, and I think that these things are important. I think people would like to see it, and I actually did start writing it, and then I quickly realised that it takes up an awful lot of time. So it might be something that I'll do. I don't know. Maybe when I've given up on YouTube, I don't know. I might think about doing something like that. Saying that though, there are something like, how many waffles? I've been doing them since 2013. So there's 8 years, 8 times 50 is 4. There's potentially 400 hours of me doing waffles. So there's maybe I could bring it out as an audio book. I could lump all 400 hours together and bring it out as an audio book. You never know. Stephen's asking, have you ever played Tales of the Arabian Nights? Yeah, go on then. Get the cheap shots out. Why don't you? I'll just have a drink of my beer while I see all the various jokes. Yeah, that was written by Ian Gray as well. I know Paul Morrison. I don't think Paul's in tonight. He loves the game. It's a platform by Interceptor Software. I've played it a couple of times. Not a big fan. 8-Bit Steve, are you going to give me a Vectrex machine for Christmas? Hell no, Stephen. you know how you can get a Vectrex. You just need to try and butter somebody up a wee bit better. But anyway, Neil's asking, or sorry, Ox, I should say, have you seen the colour Vectrex hack on Hackaday? No, I haven't. Now I know they were planning to release a colour Vectrex, and I think they realised. I think there might have been a prototype or something. I'm not quite sure, but I think they realised that it was going to be too expensive, and it never came up. I haven't, Ox. I'd be interested. So, what is Hackaday? Is that a YouTube channel, possibly? Let me know. Dale, what was your first handheld? Astro Wars. No, it wasn't, Dale. It's that little blue thing over there. I'm not going to bother getting it. What was it called again? Missile Invader. Yeah. Back in the 70s when these little machines came out, or was it the 80s? I can't remember. You had stuff like Galaxy Invader and what have you. They had quite a few different these machines, and the cheapest one was Missile Invader. And to be honest, it's a bit shit. Even back in 1979, whenever I got it, it was a bit shit. So that was my first one. I think it was £9.99. And yeah, did I say it's a bit shit? Astro Wars was the second one that I got. No, I tell a lie, it wasn't. It was the third one. The second one that I got, and I've actually got a massive big bundle. I've been buying up all these. I'm not going to. You might be able to see. In fact, there you go. You can see. I can't even bloody point it. There, it's there. You can see some of them down there. I've got about 25 of them. I will need to get some more videos out with that. But yeah, Missile Invader was the very, very first one that I had. Phil's asking, what are your thoughts on the Commodore consoles? C64 GS or Amiga CD32? That's an interesting question, Phil. Anybody that's done any research will know that the C64 GS was probably the biggest flop ever. I mean, it was a diabolical thing. I mean, apparently within, I don't know, months of the thing getting released, you could pick it up for like 30 quid. The problem with it was, I don't think there was any games that actually. I mean, the C64 GS, all it was a Commodore 64 without a keyboard. That was it. It was no more powerful. They basically removed the keyboard and they removed the tape and disk drive adapter. So the only way you could play a game was through a cassette, or sorry, through a cartridge. And that was the problem. You could buy yourself a C64 GS and pay £25 for a game on cartridge, or you could get yourself a C64 for half the price and get the game for £9.99. Go figure. And this was a laugh, and this is a true story. Apparently, they actually brought out a game. All the games that came out were simple ports. They were just ports of they weren't even ports. They just took the C64 version and removed the keyboard and they put it on a cartridge. I mean, it was that lazy. And there was actually a game, I don't know what one it was. There was a game that they released, and it obviously never been tested. And it actually asked you to press a key. It was something like press spacebar to continue. And there was no keyboard, and you physically could not play the game because there was no keyboard. So yeah, the C64 CS, GS, whatever it's called, is a pile of wank. Absolutely. I'd still like to have one because I think they go for a stupid price now. The Amiga CD32, I like it. Again, I don't think it never really got the attention it deserved. The problem was it came out far too late, and the sort of the by time the by time the Amiga CD32 came out, Commodore were in a bad way, and then I think they went tits up and and it failed. It flopped. The problem with the CD32 was the games were just like, I think it was AGA graphics. The games were basically the Amiga 1200 game, and they would stick some CD music on it. So you weren't getting any, there was really no, you weren't getting any extra content, and the game was a lot more expensive. Instead of paying, I don't know what you'd pay, instead of paying 19.99, you're probably paying 30 quid for exactly the same game on a CD. I mean, if you look at, I've got a CD32, it's over there actually, and it's all been recapped by my good mate Gadget UK. If you look at, the wonderful thing about the CD32 is you can just download the games. There's no protection at all, because the protection back in the day was the fact that nobody had a CD burner, and if you did, discs were cost an absolute fortune, so they didn't have to bother putting protection onto that system. But yeah, if you download a game, the game, it might only be 10 meg, and it's on a CD. What's a CD? 700 meg or something. So the games were tiny. So again, they never really, just like the C64 GS, the games never utilised the space. I mean, I think there was a couple of games. I can't remember offhand what they were called. Was it Captive? I think it was, by Tony Crowther. There was a few games that came out that did utilise the extra kind of. I mean, it was at the Amiga. Sorry, the CD32 was basically an Amiga 1200 with a CD. I think you could maybe get a keyboard for it as well. But I've got mine. I really like it. Again, they go for daft money. I don't play it that often. Should I get rid of it? Possibly. I don't know. Excuse me a little second. I'm just going to have a wee quick look at the questions. Stephen's asking, who's getting the Amiga Mini, or are you waiting for the Amiga Maxi? I don't know. I don't know. I think if the I mean, let's be honest, it's going to be emulation now. There's nothing wrong with emulation at all. If they do bring out one that's really good, the thing is, even although the Amiga is an old machine, emulating it is still a pain in the arse. It's still, there's a lot of faffing about. Games don't always, they don't always translate well to bigger TVs and that kind of stuff. So if this came out and it ran games really well, I mean, I've got what have I got? The Raspberry Pi 4, is it? It's the all-in-one keyboard thing, and I've got it's an Amiga. I've got the Amiga image thing, so when I switch it on, it powers into Amiga, and it is really good. The only problem is some of the games play way too fast, which is a pain in the arse, and for that reason, I don't really play it all that often. So if they brought out this Amiga and it played perfectly on a big TV, then I think I probably would buy one. I'm not really interested in the Mini. I think I would like to have one with a keyboard. That's the thing. I mean, I am looking to eventually get rid of the majority of my collection. I'd probably keep like I don't know, the Atari, definitely keep my C64, possibly keep my Amiga. I don't know. If they brought out a new Amiga thing that would plug into my HD TV, then I would probably get rid of it, because I'm not one of these anal people about, oh, it's got to be the real hardware. If I can buy something that plays games really, really well on a modern TV, then I'm all in. Absolutely. Stephen's asking, what was Empire of Khan and Cuddly Qbert like compared to other games? Empire of Khan, I don't really, I can't say I really know much about it. I think, was Empire of Khan was it not an adventure game, Stephen? I think it might have been Cuddly Qbert is actually probably it's probably about the best Qbert game on the C64. It's actually really, really good. So yeah, I mean, some of Ian Gray's stuff was bloody abysmal. China Minor, yeah, it's all right. Crazy Kong. The least said about that, the better. Yeah, I think Cuddly Qbert is actually a pretty damn good version of Qbert, though I'm not a fan of Qbert. But yeah, it's not bad at all. Ox is asking, when's the movie coming out, Al? I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, Ox. Maybe because I'm about 10 minutes behind in the what do you call it, the comments. Wait a wee minute. I'm just looking at Steve's question. Give me 2 ticks. Right. Anyway, yeah. Steve's asking. Oh, hang on. Why is that moved? Why has that moved? Yeah, Steve's asking. I love the 70s Merlin handheld. Have you ever used one? You mean this? Hey, yeah. I bought one of these brand new. This is not the one that I had. But yeah, excellent. It's like Simon Says. You can play poker on it. Yeah, excellent thing. Next, let's have a look. Dale, have you ever been to a launch event at a show or shop and have a story to tell us? A launch event? I can't say I have, Dale. No, I've never been that privileged. I've never been invited to anything at all. A launch event at a show or shop. I haven't, Dale. No. Right, LFC Gamer and Vlogs. How would you describe Renegade 3 in one word? Knowing you, Pish would spring to mind. Renegade 3, I'm not familiar with Renegade 3. Let me have a quick look. The first Renegade, it's all right. It's not the greatest. The Spectrum one's pretty good, to be fair. The Target Renegade 3 C64. The second one is excellent. Right. I have never actually played. Let me just have a quick. I'll turn the sound down. I'm just going to quickly watch a bit of this. Not turn the sound down. Right. Yeah. Target rate. Oh my god. Right. I'm not going to bother sharing it, but basically, you are. It looks like you've gone in some kind of time warp thing. You're fighting cavemen. You're fighting dinosaurs. Graphically wise, it does look really nice, but it just looks. Renegade is all about the violence and bashing little cartoon characters. Just really doesn't. No, it does look nice. I have to say, it does look really, really nice. But did it get panned? Yeah, the graphics are bloody good. I have to say. I can't really comment. I can't really comment LFC because I've never actually played it. Listen, guys, no more questions, please, because yeah, time's wearing on. I'm going to I don't want to take up all your time. It's Friday night. Go and spend a bit of time with your girlfriend or boyfriend, or do what you have to do. Right, Dell. Other than myself as a great guest, who has interviewed the best? I'm just trying to think. I mean, I've been very lucky. Who have I had on guest wise? I've obviously Dominic Diamond. I've had Kevin Toms of Football Manager fame. I've had Sean Southern, Andrew Morris of Lotus. I've had Jim Bagley. Jim's a lovely guy. I've had Andy Walker of Task Set. I've had John Hare of Sensible Software. I've had Dave Games Animal Perry, Gary Liddon. Yeah, I've been really lucky with some really cool people. Uh, you know what? I'm not going to pick one. I've had Gary Bracey, Gary, of Ocean Software. I don't know everybody, and I know it's like a kind of a get out clause, but everybody that I've had has been excellent. To kind of flip it on its head, have I had anybody that I didn't like? Not at all. Now, I know he doesn't watch my channel, but Dave Perry, Dave, not what do you call it, Earthworm Jim, Dave Perry, the other one, the one that was on Games Master, Games Animal, Dave Perry. Like a lot of people, I thought he was a bit of a cock, just because of the sort of persona that he used to kind of portray in Games Master. He was so arrogant. We've all seen the Mario 64 gate, where he failed abysmally. However, having interviewed Dave several times, he was also part of my 12-hour live stream. Dave is one of the nicest guys you could ever meet, and I mean that sincerely. He's a lovely guy, and I utterly changed my opinion of the guy. So no, there has not been anybody. Some people can be quite shy, and it can be a wee bit disconcerting when you're trying to kind of questions out of people. But no, I have to say there's been nobody. Everybody that I've had the been blessed with actually getting on my channel has been fantastic. Really, been really lucky. Stephen Ogrig, Software Limited was running for. Sorry, Stephen, Software Limited was running for 26 years when you said when it was folded. So I'm not quite sure what you're meaning there, Stephen. Right, Dell's asking, can you remember how your emotions were like at a first Blackpool event? You were asked to talk to a crowd of people about retro. Well, Dell, I have never actually done a talk myself. I've never been like the person getting interviewed. No, I tell a lie. I was part of a panel. As you probably know, I used to be part of an organisation or a YouTube channel called Retro and Limb. It's basically all things retro, not just video games. And about 4 years ago, we had a live panel. I was one of about 10 YouTubers. If I'm being honest, there was too many people, and I didn't see a great deal. But it was still fun. It was fun to be part of. But yeah, I've never been interviewed, on a sort of Blackpool thing. But I was lucky enough to actually host two of the live panels. I did Hewson Consultants. I had Andrew Hewson, his son, and a couple. There was another guy, and I can't remember his name. And I also had Magnetic Fields with what do you call it, Sean Southern and Andrew Morris. And you know what? I was absolutely fine. In the run up to it, I was getting a wee bit nervous. I was thinking, it's one thing sitting in front of a camera like I am at the moment. I mean, I'm sitting in my bedroom, effectively I could be talking to myself. I can see there's people watching. And I think that has done a lot for my confidence. I don't mind talking to people, even in real life now. And yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. There is something that's really nice being able to talk in front of people. I mean, when I did the two Blackpool panel talks, I don't know how many. There was maybe, I don't know, 100 people in the audience. Maybe not quite as many. I'm not quite sure. But it's great. Yeah, you do get a buzz. Will I do it again? Not at the play events. Absolutely no. I'm not interested in doing it again. Because the guy that runs it, I don't know him. Like I says before, we never got a thanks for doing anything. We never got any expenses. We got nothing, absolutely nothing at all. And it was down to me to basically get the guests, to find them. It was up to me to come up with the questions. It was even up to me to put the little video that was playing in the background. So it was all my work. And yeah, to do 2 of these, and apparently they did prove really popular, and to not get a thanks or anything, I'm like, nah. I'd love to do it again, but unless they're going to pay me, it's not going to happen. I was kind of moaning a couple of weeks ago about the Play Blackpool that's just kind of passed. That they continually have the same YouTube channels on year in, year out. And you know what? There's loads of good retro gaming channels. You know, you don't have to have 150,000 subscribers for people to want to listen to what you have to say. You know, I just think they really need to. They really need to change things. But yeah, I would love to. I would absolutely love to be invited to be, on a panel of one of these things. Is it ever going to happen? Probably not. But anyway, right. Listen, guys, I'm going to head off. That's an hour and 20 minutes. I think that is quite enough for one night. I know it's a bit late now, but I've mentioned before there's a group of us going down to Arcade Club next Saturday, which is the 26th, 27th. Let me have a quick look at my calendar, what have you. The 27th, yeah. We are going to be down in Arcade Club in Bury next Saturday. We're going to be there all day, and then we're going to go for a curry or whatever it is and a few beers. So if anybody is near to Bury and you want to catch up with myself and a few of the guys that watch the channel, it would be bloody excellent to see you. There's 6 of us. Well, there's 4 of us going down for Scotland. We're picking up a couple of the lads on the way down, and then we're going to head to Bury. And there's a couple of the guys that are going to be meeting us there. So yeah, it's a kind of a wee Mainmeister road trip type thing. So like I said, if you're going to be in the vicinity, then pop in. It's a fantastic day. It really is. Arcade Club is just awesome, absolutely awesome. So anyway, listen, guys, I'm going to go and have some hot chocolate and some cookies. You all have an excellent weekend. And as always, guys, I will be back. By the way, I'll be back on Friday. Not Friday, I'll be back on Sunday, as always, 7 o'clock till 9 for a live stream. So till next time, guys, as always, thank you very much for watching.